So Scandu's the hip hop original, one half of the Connoisseurs of hip hop, and we are at episode number 10, the season finale of our head-to-head interview series. And no better way for us to sign off with an incredible UK hip hop veteran of the scene, man. You know, the one and only Genesis Elijah. So, sir, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, brother.
How's everything with you, man? Good?
Everything is blessed, man. I can't even complain. Like, I could complain, but like, you know what I mean? I got to count my blessings, man.
Of course, bro. That's definitely the way this year is going, man. The best thing you can take from it is just count your blessings, man. That you're well, family's well, and you know you live a privileged life where we can get up and do the things that make us happy, bro.
That's
you know,
it, man.
Whilst trying to make a positive, you know, impact on the world.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Cool. So the first question I want to ask you, brother, is for our fans that may not be too familiar with you, man. What is the origin of the name Genesis Elijah, and was it your first hip hop name, and where did it come from?
Nah, it wasn't my first. I think my first rap name was just my real name is Nathaniel. So my first rap name was N-A-T-T, was just Nat. Because obviously Snoop, the S-N-O-O-P, the D-O-G-G, so I was the N-A-T-T. So that was like the first rap name I had. Then a little while, that was when I was like 10.
Right.
A little while after that, I had my name was Nemesis. So Nemesis was my rap name. So that was what, I don't know, man, maybe 12, 13. Then Alton Towers came up with a ride called Nemesis. And I was just like, nah, they just took my name, innit? And so at the time as well, I was going to church as well. I was like, obviously my dad's a preacher or whatever, so I was in church all the time. And I was originally, I was a gospel rapper. Right. So then the name Genesis was just like, it was like Nemesis. So I was like, oh, sick, that will work. So Genesis was the name. And I always wanted to have, because there was a lot of stuff called Genesis out there. So there was like, at the time, obviously Genesis, the band, which I didn't even know about then, but Genesis, there was enough Genesis. I was like, if I had Elijah, it's a surname, so then you know exactly, like in real life, you have your name. You might be called John, there's bare Johns, yeah, but you got your surname, it sets you apart. So Elijah was one of my favorite names at the time, just the imagery of who Elijah was in the Bible as a prophet. So that's where that came from.
Right. So what would you say your early influences and inspirations were, man? You said you was a Christian rapper. So how did you find yourself becoming a Christian MC initially?
It wasn't, that just kind of happened. So a lot of my life is kind of based around my peer group. So especially when I was younger. So obviously my first influences with rap was like LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, NWA, then MC Hammer, like those were kind of like my first influences in hearing rap and being like, oh, that's what I want to do. When I got a little bit older, so when I got to about, say, I don't know, maybe 15, that was when I was kind of like, all my friends were church friends, innit? And then it was kind of thinking, oh wait, the one of the guys I used to actually record with, he was a Christian. So he was like, yo, we should start a group. So I was like, all right, cool, let's just do it. So I wasn't really trying to be a gospel rapper, but because that's the circle I was in, so I was just like, yeah, man, like I was a Christian at the time, or going church anyway, so I was like, yeah, cool, let's run it. So that was, my influences were still outside secular, not in church. A little while later, like when I was, about maybe 16, like a year into it, I started kind of listening to more gospel rappers and really meeting some hard Christian rappers, man. One of my best friends actually, who I used to go to school with, he's actually, I don't know if he's still, I think he's still a Christian. I don't know if he's like out the game yet, but he was a gospel rapper. He was hard, you know what I mean? And he was like one of the guys who, when I first started rapping, I was trying to, you know what I mean, bounce back and forth. We would like freestyle together. So yeah, there were some hard Christian rappers, but then 16, by the time I hit like coming up to 17, man, I was out the game. I was on the road. It was all over with that.
Man, crazy, bro. So at which point did you like manage to hone your skills to a point that you were happy to like put out your first releases?
See, this is the thing. I thought I was super hard way before I was actually any good.
Okay.
So when I got serious into rap, so 18 was the age where I was like, okay, this is gonna be my career. This is what I'm going into, and having the mindset that I'm sick, and like it was always reinforced. Like whenever there was like a freestyle session, and everyone would be rapping, I would always kind of get the best reaction or have like the best line. Then I got involved with a label, again through chance. Kind of got involved with a label. They heard me rap and was like, yeah, we think you're sick, we want to put something out with you.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And then at the time they were just like, yeah, we're gonna put out a 12. This was gonna be my first real like release really. And they were like, who do you wanna feature on it? Because they were like, we need a feature to kind of, because no one knows who you are. So I'm like, Kalashnikov, because Kalashnikov was the hardest at the time, still is.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanna, you know what I mean? So I don't think I was ready at the time, in my opinion, to have sparring with the best, but in my mind, I thought I was ready. Like, I thought I was ready. Looking back and listening back, if I listen back to the album, I'm like, there was a lot of things you didn't understand. You were swinging, man. You were just swinging. Like, but you weren't fighting, you weren't ducking and weaving, you weren't planting your feet, you weren't moving your head. Like, there was a lot of stuff you weren't doing. But at the time, just the level of who was making music and who was doing these things, the level wasn't really up there. So, and I say this all the time, I got to where I was here, and people say, like, when you introduce me, you're like, hip hop veteran. The reason I managed to do what I did wasn't because I was the best. I was just out there. I was there at a time where if you had an album, if you had a 12, people are gonna buy it.
Right.
Like, if you got an album out, people are like, oh, that's sick, because no one really had that. And when we would go to record shops or whatever, we would just say, what UK hip hop you got? We got this, and we're buying it all. We're not going, oh, I don't know who that is, because the selection wasn't really there. So I managed to come up in a time where things were a lot easier, man. Easier as far as like getting on stage. Not easier as far as producing the music, that was a lot harder. But as far as being a name, it wasn't hard. All you had to do was just be at the right place at the right time, and that's what I did.
Right. So obviously, so you were aware that you wasn't at the level that you wanted to be. So what did you think it took for you to get to that like professional level?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've been rapping now for on what I would say is a professional level. I've been getting paid to do music for almost 20 years, and there's still elements that I listen to. I'm like, nah, that's not the level it needs to be at yet.
Right.
And I think part of I don't think anyone's ever happy with themselves as an artist, as a complete artist, which is cool. But I feel like a lot of it is just really understanding, be self-aware. So understand, oh, you know what, I'm good at this, I'm not that good at that. So just kind of not staying in your lane, do whatever you want to do, but just understanding, nah, these are my limitations, knowing your limitations. And obviously all limitations, if you work on them, you can, you know what I mean, you can do what you got to do and become better.
Right.
But I don't think there's never really been a time when I've been like, there's certain songs that I'll be like, I killed that. Man can't touch me. I killed that. Can't tell me nothing, which is cool. But again, it's knowing my limitations. I just put out not last video, the video before, Man-Made Monster.
Right.
When I made that, like in this room where I recorded it, I knew it was fire. Like I knew it was fire. I knew no one was touching it. Just straight up. I'm just like, on this side of things, you're not touching me. When it comes to like just bars, you're not touching me. Right. But at the same time, there's elements within that I'm like, the diction might be off there, the timing might be off there. There might be a different song where I'm singing now, the singing was off. Just how you put it out, your voice. How was your voice? When I start getting excited, my voice goes super high.
Right.
And when I shout, my voice goes super high. So a lot of the old stuff I recorded was like me just shouting, and it sounds like, to me, it's like that's grating on the ears. Whereas it took me a couple of years to realize, yo, turn the beat down, turn your vocals up. Right now you can talk. Right, now project your voice through.
Yeah.
Now you can still go loud, but it's booming rather than you screaming. So all these little things is like, it took me years to kind of get and go, yeah, that sounds better to me. Anyway, this sounds better to me. This is what I'm trying to go to. But I will still hear artists like Kano. The first time I heard Kano, I'm like, nah, that's what he's doing is a whole different level. The way he's the technicality of what he's doing is different. And he was like 18 at the time. Right. I was already like, I was way older than him. I'm listening like, right, this kid is crazy. You know what I mean? So there's certain guys, Drake, I listen to Drake's music and can't hear a mistake, not a mistake in a syllable. All the times I've been listening to his music, I ain't heard one mistake in a syllable. Maybe on some of the older stuff, but on the new stuff, it's just like, this is flawless music. So then it's about, right, okay, how deep do you want to go into what you're doing? With a lot of stuff that I do is about feel, it's about the vibe. So some of the mistakes and stuff, they kind of got to be in there because you kind of got to, I don't want it to be too clean and too clinical. So it's just trying to figure out where you, what's your limitations? What are you trying to do? Working around that. But as far as like me saying, yo, yeah, I've made it. I'm happy where I am. I don't think that you're ever gonna have that.
Right. But do you feel that you've honed the Genesis Elijah sound?
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's like anything. Yeah. I see it as a Genesis Elijah is a business and a brand. Yeah. Every brand has a story.
Right.
What's the story? And it does evolve. But I feel like it took me a little while to kind of figure out, yo, this is who Genesis Elijah is. Like I said, when I did my first song with Kalashnikov, at that time, Kalashnikov was a god to me. He was to me, he was the standard of what rap should be. So that's what I should be doing. So everything I wrote, I would write in my mind. Would Kalashnikov say that though? No, he wouldn't say that. I'm not saying that because he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't put that in his rhyme. A little while after that, or around the same time, like Chester P to me was like one of the best imagery rappers, and it'd be like, nah, how can I write that the way Chester would write that? You know what I mean? And it took me a good few years to get to the point where, when I say a few years, I mean a good 10 years, I'd say, because from the time of writing, the time Dep on Road came out was like 2005. Yeah. The time there was some other stuff in between that, which was cool. But the time when I got to Private Moments in public. I was a little bit before that, like 2008-ish time, was when I was in a place where I was like, no. I say what I want to say and how I want to say it. So, and then from there, it was about really just honing that. What is it that you do? And it's still, when I do consultations for brands, it's always like, well, how can we distill it? So you've got all this information about what you do. Yeah. What can we get rid of? And what can't we get rid of, until we get right down to the point where it's just like, yeah, that is you. And I still work on it every single day as who is Genesis Elijah, what is Genesis Elijah. Right.
Yeah, so if listeners obviously feeling the new album and wanting to do a bit of research, what would you say are the top 3 releases that they should check out from your catalogue that you would say clearly define the essence of you and your journey?
I think Private Moments in Public because it's really a story. It's almost like a kind of like a day in the life concept album in a way. And that shows more of me than any other project, really. Just from the fact that it's got my family in the skits, like real, I made the skits. I didn't tell them I was recording them, just some secret recording, so that you hear like, this is my real life. This is how my life goes. And it also shows it's a really cool album because it represents me in a time and a place where I didn't have shit, man. Like I was just trying to make it work. I was probably still working 9 to 5 somewhere and trying to do music at the same time, but I kind of knew I deserve more, and I'm going to get more. But right now, I'm in a place, I'm struggling, man. I'm just trying to just make it as a rapper. So there's not really. I think after that, I kind of started feeding myself a bit more. So there's a lot more braggadocious rhymes in what I say. Like I'll drop certain things, and that's cool because again, you move on and you try different things and whatever. But I feel like that album really encapsulates who I am as a person, because after you strip all that away, like all the accolades, I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, I'm a father, I'm a husband, like that's who I am. And that album just shows all of that. That album just it kind of really just highlights that. It also has a little bits and pieces of my past in there as well. I talk about my mum, my dad, I talk about my all other people, I mean other family members and that kind of stuff. So that's an album that I think if you listen to, you really get to know me. And it's jokes actually, because last night I was sitting with my wife and kids and we were playing some of my old videos. We actually played like my very first video, and I'm showing my kids, like I was down to your age when I made this. And we're playing some stuff from Private Moments in Public, and the last song, it's called The Last Moment. And I'm listening back to it and I'm just like, raw, I was really like putting my heart on like I'm really telling people stuff that I really maybe shouldn't say, but it's just it's all real life. I was talking about, this is before my granddad died when he was ill. I'm talking about my granddad is ill right now. I can't afford to visit him. I can't even afford to go to Jamaica and go see him. And then I've got a flight in the morning and I can't afford to miss that because I've got to go Ireland and do some, like, all this stuff was just real. And I remember just like, I'm listening back like, rah, I was really giving them stuff. And to me, that's how I want it to be, because I want it to be a place where you can listen to that album and you can know who I am. My kids can listen to that. My grandkids can listen to that. Like, that was my dad, my granddad, my uncle. That's what he went through. You know what I mean? It's history.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And how about the other two recommendations?
The other two, so I'd go with, I guess I'd have to go with the first album, Dep on Road, because that's the one that really bust me. And he's a kid, man. He's a kid. He's like, he wants to rap, but he's at that time I didn't see rap as something serious. Like, I love the music and I saw the music is serious, but I didn't see the business as being serious. Because to me, the business was never gonna give me as much as the road was giving me. So I was always in that situation of dealing with management and dealing with labels and just not taking them seriously at all. Because to me, it was always like, yeah, we're gonna, your publishing deal, we're gonna give you $4,000 for the publishing deal. And I was just like, what am I gonna do with $4,000, man? Like, that's nothing to, like, at that time, it was just like, I don't really care about that stuff. Like, I love the music. That's what I want to do. I don't care about that. Just let me rap with Kalashnikov. Let me do this. Let me shoot some videos. That's all I wanted. So I think if you listen to the music, you listen to a guy who's really young. I wrote a lot of that when I was like 18, 19. So you're hearing a kid just talking about his life and being in that part of, I really want to get out of the road, but I don't really know how to do it. I hope that music can take me away from it, but I don't think it's going to. But at the same time, I'm still telling you, look, don't do what I'm doing. At the same time, I'm still like, I can't leave this right now, but I don't want you to do it because it's horrible. And I think that was my whole thing. There was a track on the album called Gun Talk, which is another track I did with Terra Firma, with Kalashnikov and Emma. And the track was about, it was an anti-gun crime song. And we're talking about putting guns down in a studio full of guns. And like, it always like, even at the time, it was like, I don't want to do this. And I know there's a way out of it. And I feel like if I just keep saying it, if I just keep speaking it into existence, it's going to happen. If I just keep saying, leave the road, get out of the road, just get out of it. I know I'm going to get out of it. And that's kind of what happened. So I feel like if you listen to that album, you can kind of you'll get that vibe. The last project, I'd say, probably, you know what? I think the last project, Blurred. I think Blurred, because the reason I say Blurred is because what you're getting then is really me as an artist right now. So one of the things that was always missing from my music was the fun element. Because I was always trying to be too hard. Like I was always I didn't want people to know that I was funny or that I had other sides to me, or I could be silly. And I feel like what you're getting more of now in the music is just songs like Cancel. To me, they're funny songs. It's a funny song. It's about cancelling in the year. And it's not a serious song. Like, it's not serious. It's a joke song, really, but it represents what we're all going through right now. But it's something that I never would have done when I was younger. Because Kalashnikov wouldn't have liked it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's in my mind. I'm like, nah, man. The man, they're gonna look at me funny if I do a joke song. Whereas now, I'm a grown man. Like, I don't care about what anybody thinks about the music I make, because the music I make now is literally just for me. If anyone else likes it, alright, cool, good for you, man. Like, okay, but it weren't made for you. It was literally made for me to just, like, either push myself as a songwriter, have some fun making a beat, or just get that, whatever I wanted to say, get that out of me, man. And that's what it's there for. It is made for a few people, but it's a really, really small circle. I could literally name the 10 people I make music for that I want to put out, and I want to see their reaction and be like, they like it, yeah, all right, cool. You know what I mean? It's man them, girl them, like, it's us. It's a family thing, and I feel like if you listen to Blurred, you'll kind of get that a lot more. And also, just as far as understanding how to make an album sonically, I feel like I've got to a point where I really understand what makes a good song. Like, well, I was just, like I said last night, I was listening to the first video I put out, which was So Hip Hop, and I was just like, like, the song does make sense if you're me, because I know what I was talking about. But if you're listening as an outsider, I'm like, the hook don't make that much sense, really. Like, it doesn't, like, an A&R, like, if we had a good A&R at the time, they would have been like, nah, I see what you're saying, but you got to change that a little bit just to make it so people can understand what you're saying. Like, watching the video, and I'm watching the video, I'm like, I don't even know what the video's about. Like, I remember at the time them telling me, but now, 20 years later, I don't remember, and I'm looking at it like, this video don't make any sense. And I feel like now I've got to a point where I really understand art direction. I really understand how things should look aesthetically, how to make a hook where even if it doesn't make sense, the vibe makes sense, the feeling's there, people know what you're talking about, so that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the last full album I made, which was made to be an album. So
Right. So let me ask you a quick question about Private Moments, man. Obviously you said that was a very personal album to you. How did you take feedback? So obviously you're talking about family members and stuff like that. What was the reception like if you said something that kind of rubbed somebody in your personal life the wrong way? What was that experience?
Luckily, like, I didn't say anything too crazy. And really the people who I was speaking about, for the most part, as far as like grandparents, that kind of stuff, they're never going to hear it anyway. So it's just like, that kind of stuff it kind of gets, you know what I mean? It is what it is. And I feel like it even works better for people who are in a similar situation as me, and they're like, yo, yeah, man, my grandparents are ill too, or, yeah, I mean, you kind of have that. When I was younger, I would write things to get a reaction from people close to me.
Right.
And not in a good way either, but there's something about me that's not quite right, where I would have write something that someone close to me is gonna listen to and be pissed off about. But because it's a truth, but it's not the truth I would want to say to their face, but I can put it in music because then it kind of gives a step apart. Right. And yeah, I used to say some horrible stuff. Not like, not horrible, but not understanding it was horrible at the time. Just me being like, it's real, man, I'm keeping it real, I'm saying what I feel. Whereas it's like, yeah, some things you shouldn't, you can say, but just don't say it that way. Right. I think one of the only things I kind of always have a little bit of hesitation about is when I write about family members who are dead. Right. And friends and family that are in prison. Okay. That's the only time I'm kind of like, and a lot of times I'll either just say an initial, or say it in a different way, because I always feel like that's a step. That's a bit too personal.
Yeah.
And there's also as well. I might have. There's always, especially when you talk about people in prison.
Right.
There's always victims. So I might say, shout out my boy doing life, boom, boom, boom. But so there's a victim in that situation as well. So it's like, well, why are you shouting out my man? Like we're suffering. We got a family member we can't get back. Well, that kind, you know what I mean? Or on the flip side of that, me talking about someone who's not here anymore, and then one of their family members listening to it and it all bringing it back up as well. And especially in a situation where you're like, yeah, he was your friend, yeah, but this is my brother, or this is my dad. Like, you shouldn't be speaking about it in that way. So that's the only time I kind of use a different name or choose an initial. And even with that, I always try and be as respectful as I can when speaking about that. And I'm always trying to be as respectful as I can when speaking about family as well. The only person who I don't mind speaking bad about is myself.
Right. Okay, man. So you spoke about evolving from just being a rapper to being a full artist now. And I know it's especially in recent times, man. You put a lot of time and effort into your visual presentation, like obviously your artwork and your music videos as well, and how you present yourself online. Now, I mean, what is the general inspiration behind your whole artistic presentation, man?
I think so. Aesthetically, I always feel like the music sounds better when it's packaged with a nice cover. It's always been my thing. If I see an artwork that looks cheap, I'm always just like, I don't know if I mean, it almost tells me the music might be like that as well.
Right.
So I always try to think, right, how can I make this look as good as possible? How can, if I'd make a cover, would you want to wear that cover? Would that cover look good on a t-shirt? How can that become merch? Right. And so what that then did, it changed the way I went about making artwork. So if you look at a cover like Ep.10 Road, let's use the free album, the free covers, the free albums I spoke about, let's use those as examples.
Right, okay.
So Ep.10 Road, I was really the first project. I did all the art direction myself. I made sure my logo was on it because at the time I'd just done my logo, so I wanted that to be something. I did all the inside thank yous were written in my own handwriting. And we made a font using my handwriting to do that. Okay. I think we had 3 different photo shoots for cover art. Then I had a personal picture that I took with me and my daughter when she was little, and I wanted that in there so that that will be there forever.
Yeah.
And it was really, I think at the time it fit with. At the back, I had my boys, I had my day ones, so it's like I still got. You can see the cover. I've got my boys still in there from now. I've got AC, Terror, Double Edge, White Coat. Like everybody that I still hang with now is still in that cover again. Right. 20 years ago, near enough. So I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I wanted it to look like for myself. But looking at it now, it's not the greatest cover. It doesn't. It's become iconic in a way because again, it's one of there's a lot of nostalgia around that cover, which is why it works. But it's not the greatest cover. I think I just got like my tattoos as well, yeah. So I was like, yo, I gotta get my tattoos. I think I had my chest tattoos as well. I'm like, yo, man's tattooed up. You gotta get my tattoos in there. Like, so there was a lot of stuff that was kind of done for that, like, you know what I mean, for that kind of idea. Yeah. So to me, that cover wasn't. Looking back at it now, it's not a great cover. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? It's just not great. Yeah. So then, Private Moments in Public, I understood a lot more then about things to look. I wanted it to look classy. I wanted the class. Like I wanted it to look expensive. So again, nice little photo shoot. It's very simple. It's a very simple cover. Really, really simple. And it, like even so I had the color scheme. I had a white, grey, red color scheme over everything, over all the artwork, and all the promo. So it's something that you could really spot really quickly. It looked nice. The only problem with that was my outfit. It looks good for 2014, but now the outfit's kind of dead. Like, my daughter was cussing it yesterday. She was like, "Why are you wearing that hat? Were you homeless?" I'm like, "Leave me alone, man." But I was trying to think.
Right.
Moving forward again to actually I said blurred, didn't it?
Blurred.
No, I won't use blurred because blurred is good, but I haven't with blurred because it was I took the artwork from another project which hasn't come out yet. Right. So that will make way more sense when it does come out. But again, the blurred cover fits in with something else. So I'm always thinking ahead as well. It's never like this is just for that. But I covered a project we did, which was It Will All End in Tears.
Yeah.
That was again really thinking about what's gonna look good as merch. Like how can we pattern this? And the same with Creature from Beneath the Mainstream. What's gonna look good as art? Yeah. And what we found was when we spent time and money into really making the artwork look great, we went to the Tate Modern, took photos for It Will All End in Tears. People, I didn't say anything. I just put the picture out and see what the reaction was. People going crazy over a picture. I'm like, that's what I want. I want people to just see the picture and be like, I like that. Can I get a print of that? I'm like, I'll do you one better. It's on a t-shirt, go get that. And that's how we kind of moved around. And so when I think about artwork now, it's always, how can you maximize it? Like, does the artwork stand by itself? Same with the music videos. Does the music video stand by itself? There's a lot of, I'm very limited in how I can do music videos because I'm doing the videos myself most of the time. And especially in lockdown, we're even more limited. So it's really trying to figure out, okay, if I can only shoot in my house, how can I shoot in my house? How can I make that look good? How can we make it look expensive? Make it look like the production values are up there. So all these little things, man, it's like, it's never just, it should never be, but it can be, but it should never be just me standing in front of a camera rapping. If we do that, then we do it like we did with the Man-Made Monster video where we add different effects and we turn it into a cartoon and that becomes an aesthetic in itself. That becomes something else that people are like, yo, I need to get that on the cover. I need that. You know what I mean? So it's always just trying to think, how can we go that extra step rather than it just being like the first album, me just taking pictures, showing my tattoos. That's cool for that time, but we're trying to move forward and do other things. And I'm always like, one of the things I look at artwork, like who's doing really good artwork. And there's a trend at the moment where artists, musicians are getting paint artists and drawers to do pieces of art. And I love that, because then it's just like, okay, you've just gone to a whole nother level. You've got somebody, who was it? There's an artwork I saw the other day, which I loved. I can't remember the guy's name, man. But it was sick. Like, and it was done by another artist who's quite a good, like a well-known artist, and they put together something like, to me, that's what we're trying to do.
Man. And is there anyone in the scene right now that, you know, that really inspires you and like drives you to really want to pull out their best?
Manga, man. Manga's probably like the main person I look at to see how does he do what he does? What is he doing? And do you remember when I said how I used to look at Kalashnikov and be like, I want to do what Kalashnikov does? It's a similar vibe, but the difference is it's like manga does what he does for him. So how do you what you do for you? Like it's never about copying what that person does. It's seeing why they do it. What are they thinking? Like what's the thought behind it? Not the outcome. Like what's the thought behind it? Why is he doing that? And if you look at his merch, artwork merch, crazy. It's just a different level. It's a whole different level, and it goes from the artwork to the video to the merch, and then you listen to the project, and the project is fire, and you're just like, damn, like that's what we should all be striving for, because that's the bit that we all love as consumers of music. We love when we hear something that really just it all just matches, it all just feels right. And I feel like as an artist, especially an independent artist, if you're independent, you can't afford to not be on point at every part of the process.
Yeah.
If you're on a label, you might be able to afford to let a few things drop because you're good. They're gonna push you to loads more people. But when you're doing it yourself, you only have that one chance. You're gonna get that first impression. That's it. So you kind of have to take things a little bit more seriously and just make sure that everything's done to the best of your ability. Use your resources. Yeah. I don't really have the resources that Manga has right now, but what I do have, I maximize, man. Like, I ain't got everything, but what I do have, I maximize as much as I can.
Yeah, man. And I mean, one thing that sets you levels above everyone else is obviously you design yourself, you can film and edit yourself as well. So literally, you're kind of like a one-man army, man. So what was it, or like a hip-hop Swiss Army knife, even? You know, just like so, like, why is it so important for you to obviously be able to master so many different crafts?
It's a double-edged sword. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a gift and a curse. So on the flip side, when you can't do anything, you're at the mercy of who does. And again, being an independent artist, there's a lot you have to do just to produce music. So let's say you have nothing, right? So okay, you've written a song, but you need a beat. So now you got to find a producer who's got a beat. All right, cool. You got your beat. You've written a song. Now you got to go record it. Now you got to find an engineer. You've recorded your song. Now it has to be mixed, has to be mastered. Okay, cool. Done that. Boom, boom, boom. Now I need a video. Now you got to go find someone who shoots videos.
Yeah.
Do they edit as well? I don't know if they edit. Might have to find an editor. Like, there's so many steps you have to go through to get the finished product. Whereas, so my thing was always, okay, how do I eliminate as many of these steps as I possibly can?
Right.
The mindset as well was, because music isn't a great earner, you're trying to figure out, how do I make money from music? So I look at myself and go, well, where do I spend my money? Right, I spend my money on studio. Cool. Right. Well, I could do that and offer that. I spend my money on videos. Well, how about if I did that and offered that? So it's trying to figure out, like, I had the phrase always, I don't buy dreams, I sell them.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's a super old way of thinking, yeah. But it's the way, if you're a hustler, that's the way you should always be thinking. You should always be thinking, okay, cool. How do I sell this shit, man? How do I make money from what's around me? Like, what is it that I have? They say it all the time, the story's to be sold, not to be told. Okay, cool. How do I sell my story? So for me, it was always figuring out, like, how can I make money? Because I'm not making money from the music that I'm making, but is there a way I can make money while still being in music? Which is literally how all my businesses came about. They all came about by me deciding, right, let me be, instead of me having to go to something, let me be the plug for that.
Yeah.
But then there is a flip side of that. So if you can find people that do these things that are part of your team, you're going to move a lot faster.
Right.
You're also the phrase "jack of all trades, master of none" is a very real thing. You can't master all these things. Right. There's certain things that I am very efficient in. Yeah. So I would say the thing I'm best at would be rapping. Okay. I rap. Because that's the thing I've been doing the longest. That's what I feel really comfortable in. That's a part where if you put me in a room of 1,000 people and you say all these people are rappers,
right?
I'm thinking I'm gonna be top 10. We're gonna see who's got what, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be close to the top. And I really feel that in my heart.
Yeah.
If you then say, right, I've got 1,000 video directors, where I'll be like, okay, I ain't gonna be in the top 10 of that. But I can do it, but I'm just not the greatest at it.
Right.
So if you can find somebody to do those things, the same with production, I feel that way in production as well. I feel like I can make beats for myself and I know the sound that I like, which sounds good for me, but you put me in a room with Nutty P, it's a whole different, like, I can't even sit on the big boy table. I need to go sit in the corner somewhere because what he's doing is totally different. So it's just really understanding that. The reason I've done all these things has come from necessity. It's come from being in a place where I didn't have the money to consistently go to a studio. I didn't have the money to consistently find video directors. So I had to just do it myself. And from doing that, I've become better at it. And like I say, because I understand what the finished product should be, I can push as far as I can. The video that I put out, cancelled. Actually, from most of the videos from the last project, I feel proud of those videos because, to me, they're pretty good. They're like, with what I had to do, I feel like if I'd got any video director and I said to them, right, this is what you have to work with, I don't feel they would have come up with anything way more crazy than what I did. Also, not in the time. Like, I did most of those videos in the time, I'm talking about a week from start to finish. You know what I mean? That video being done. So, yeah, I think it's come from me just having to do it all myself. And I say it's a double-edged sword because I feel like that can also hold you back sometimes when you don't have the members of your team to do that. I've always been a bit of a loner when it comes to music. I've always rather do things myself because I'm like, nah, I want it done like this, I want it that way. Which is cool for me, but it might not be the best thing to do if you're looking at it from a business standpoint. You're not in a position to really go where you wanna go. The phrase is if you wanna go far, if you wanna go fast, go alone. You wanna go far, go together. And that's so important in music, man. Having a team, even if it's just one other person. In fact, I now have somebody who kind of helps me with my mixing and mastering. I will touch up some of my beats. That's helped my output probably 40 to 50%. Just having that has changed what I do, because now it's like the confidence is there. The confidence to know that I just got to throw the ball up towards the hoop. He's gonna alley-oop it. It's going in. I don't have to be like, plant my feet, make sure I take the shot. Did it go in? It don't matter anymore. All I got to do is, I know I've done my bit, boom, throw it up. LeBron, go hit that. And now we can get projects out way quicker. So that,
That's sick, man. And I think back to speaking of the business, man, I think back to the first time I met you. You was known for like selling your CDs, like doing the CD hustle back in the day, man. And you was very like successful at it. And obviously that's a trait that a lot of these newer artists don't have, man. And so what did that experience from selling CDs to direct to consumer affect you as an artist today, like selling your music direct to consumer?
You know what? Actually, like, I learned a lot from doing that, but I don't think I learned a lot. I don't think it changed how the music, it didn't have an effect on the music as much as streaming. Streaming has had a much larger effect on the music. So even I made a song yesterday, I was doing this song and a beat, and I'm like, wow, this song's 4 minutes long. Like, no one's streaming that to the end ever. Like, it's way too long. It's way too long in this era to be making 4-minute songs. Like, I wouldn't, for the most part, I wouldn't do that. If you check most of my songs are going to be 2.5 minutes, like the majority of them, because there's no point going longer than that. You want to have shorter songs so they streams more. If I had my way, I might even try this. I've been saying this. I've been threatening to do it. I'm making 30-second songs. I'm gonna do an EP with just bare 30-second songs on it, like one song cut into 3. Like, so I feel that has changed music way more. What selling CDs did was it taught me about business. It taught me about sales. It taught me about patience, and it taught me about understanding the value of the art, value of music, understanding the consumer, and the importance of having a good product, the importance of how you sell, how you present a project. A lot of people didn't get it. Like, when you sell CDs on the street, right, you kind of feel like, I'm a rapper, I'm selling my CD. What matters? All that matters is I'm gonna go up to someone and go, yo, buy my CD, yeah? And then they're gonna, it's like, no. How you look, how you dress, how you approach someone, what do you say? What's your first words that you say? When they say no, how do you react? Like, all these, like, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And I would see people fall down on those things all the time. I would see people sit holding the CDs in their hand, spiff in the other hand. No one's approaching you. I would see people, the product, like, even from then, like, even if the artwork wasn't great, but I wanted the CD to look good. I wanted the on body, you open it up and you see it's professionally done. I didn't want, some people were writing on paper, or like they'd have like a photocopy of the cover, black and white photocopy, looking mash, and on the CD would be like some CD you could buy from W.H. Smith's, and they just write the name on it. Yeah. Like, no. That's not, I can't, I want the presentation to be right. I'm asking you, the question I ask you, I don't say to you, do you like hip hop music? Because they can say no. I say, you like hip hop music, right? Yeah. You're already telling them what they like, and they're already kind of going, yeah. And then dropping the next thing like, oh, have you heard of, and breaking the artist down that I feel like they might have known. You heard of Skinny Man, right? You heard of Sway? You heard it, like, whoever was hot at the time. Yeah, cool, I've done tracks with them, look, it's on there. Yeah. Oh, that's you? Yeah, that's me, man. It's a good cover, you can see it. Like, all these little things. And then when they say no, nah, I'm not interested. No problem, man, bless, man, have a good day. Some people are like, fuck you then, man. They're gone, they're never coming back. Half the time, like a lot of times I'll be like, nah, that's cool, man, don't worry. Like, you kind of, like, you ain't got the money for it, you don't want to buy it, that's fine. Check me out on MySpace. Yeah. They come back, I saw you on MySpace, man, or I saw you on Channel U, boom, boom. Like, because I was polite with them, they came back. So I feel like, and it also showed me the value of what, because we live in a day and age here where sales don't mean anything. I was looking at my sales. I got a meeting in a couple of days' time, and I wanted to show them my online sales, how much money I was making from sales. Right. I'm looking at this and I'm just like, it's whack. I think for the year, we're on like $2,000 in sales from year to date, right? So I understand what it means to sell a hard copy CD. So I know what it feels like to make £500 in a day, not in half a year by selling CDs. So what it does, it really allows it always reaffirms in my mind, have the hard copies, man. Have the hard copies. Right. To because that's really your bread and butter. That's all part of it. A lot of people are too focused on streams because because the money's gone down so much. Yeah. Even when you do make a little $2,000, you're going, that's still $2,000. Like, you know what I mean? Man could get a PS5, get a new phone, like, and we're happy with that. But it's like, like, you really shouldn't be. You can be happy with it, but you really should understand that there's also a much better way of making money from your music, from music sales, and that should also show you that there's something wrong with the streaming process, because for the money to be that little, while the streaming services are still making so much money, there's a disconnect there. And I feel like that's always going to come from me selling CDs. I tell a story about one time we were selling CDs on in Carnaby Street, and this label exec, this woman's come up to us and she's like, oh, what are you not doing? We're like, oh, we're selling CDs. And she was like, oh, you should come to our, I can't remember what label she was with. She was like, come to the office, man. Come, you know what I mean? We'll listen to your music and stuff. She's like, we just signed this band. They're doing really well. And then I think I was with AC, and he's gone, oh, how many did it? He's always abrupt, man. He don't have to talk to people. He's just gone, oh, how many did they sell? And then she's like, they've sold almost 1,000 copies of their latest single. And then he just started laughing in her face. Wow. And she's just like, what? Because what she didn't understand is, like, we would do that in a month or less. We would sell 1,000 albums every month. That's what I would, my supplier, I would hit him up. And that's what we would do. I'd hit him up every time. Yo, bro, just did 1,000, need another 1,000. And it was just we moved in a different way. So now in the modern age, when you look at sales numbers and sales figures, obviously things have changed because no one's buying CDs anymore. That's cool. That's like, I understand that totally, but I also understand there's still a market for it. Yeah. And your job as an artist is to find that market. Or if it's not the CDs, what's the physical thing that they buy? What is it they like? Is it the hoodies? If it's the hoodie, it's the merch, then that's what you focus on, making sure you have that in place. And I think selling CDs, like, that taught me that 1,000 times over, man.
Right. So speaking of streams, man, and this is a debate that's gone on in quite a few of these interviews as well, man. The argument is obviously it's like 0.03 pence for every stream or something silly like that. Do you feel that it kind of like devalues the music in a sense, where obviously the time and effort that you put into writing the songs, the money you spend mixing and mastering the songs, to be making such a little amount of money? Like, it's almost like when we put projects out, we're always operating at a loss. Do you feel that something needs to change in the system, or, you know, in order to get a bit more balance for the artists?
All right, so we just had a parliamentary review on digital services in the UK. So they did that last week and the week before. And that was, the main thing they were saying were two things. Number one, we're not getting paid for our streams. We're not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And the second thing was the way the labels work with us. It means that we're already not getting paid enough, and then the labels come through, the contracts aren't the best, and they're taking more than they should as well. So then the artist is being left with nothing. Luckily for me,
right,
it doesn't affect me that much because I'm an independent artist.
Yeah.
But what does affect me is the streaming side of things. I worked out that off my last project, if I'd got a penny a stream,
yeah,
I'd have made 50 grand off that just on the streaming sales.
Yeah.
Bro, you know how badly I could do 50 grand right now? Like, it's and that number in itself, yeah. You go, nah, that's crazy. When I just told you, I looked at the year to year, and it's about 2 grand over 2 different digital distributors, DistroKid and Ditto Music.
Yeah.
So, and that's for the same thing, not doing anything different.
Yeah.
I also understand from the other side of things where the streaming platforms are providing crazy value to the consumer.
Right.
So, if you're a consumer, okay, if I want to hear an album, the new Juicy J album, I want to click on my Spotify app I got right there, and I want it to be up. I want to see what's popping, listen to it straight away. I don't want to have to go through very different ways to find it. Case in point, Rock Marciano put out an album 2 weeks ago, which is only available on his website.
Yeah.
The download was $40. I was like, oh man. And it's funny because the last time he did it, I swear it was around the same price, and I downloaded it. I was just like, yeah, I need it right now. And this time I was like, I don't know, man, $40. Like, but see, this is mad because that in itself is mad devalued because I ain't got $40 for Rock Marciano. Rock Marciano is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
And I'm in an R&B over $40.
Yeah. The
same amount of money that I'm gonna go and spend in Tesco's in a bit on food, on nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it shows you, because the reason that is because I know in 2 weeks' time it's gonna be free.
Yeah.
For me, well, whatever, I don't know what I pay on Spotify Premium, whatever, but it's essentially free.
Yeah.
So I get from the consumer side of things, it's not as cut and dry as that. And there is a lot of pushback, and I feel like if there's pushback from me, not paying $40 for Rock Marciano, and I am a self-proclaimed big fan of Rock Marciano, then how can I expect anybody else to want to pay more?
Right.
Okay, cool. We understand that. We get the mindset with that.
Yeah.
The other side of things is the question then becomes, wait, do they even need to pay more? How much is Spotify making?
Yeah.
I don't know if Spotify's profitable. I don't know what their business model is. It could be like Netflix where they're not profitable. But could they afford to give the artist more without charging the consumer more?
Right.
Is that something that could happen? And I guess we're probably going to find out very soon.
Yeah.
But even if it was half a penny a stream, man, like that would be half a penny a stream would be life changing for me.
Yeah.
Half a penny a stream would be life changing, because then what it would allow me to do is I would never have to take money from anywhere else to invest in my music. I could literally just use music to invest into music. I could use that for everything.
Wow.
I just the more I speak to people in places that know, it kind of becomes like I don't think it's gonna happen. Like if it does happen, it's not gonna happen quickly. It's gonna be a while. Like not
gradual thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna get from it the way I want to. It's gonna be like my kids or my kids' kids where the game changes. One of the things that a guy I spoke to Essa, Young Gun, who's a lawyer, and he was saying, you have to remember, like even like royalties now, we go. I remember getting offered a deal which was a 80-20 split. They want to give me 20%, which even at the time was quite high. It was quite a good deal, really. I was like, no, I'm not taking that. But forgetting that not too long before that, we're talking 5%, 3%, and when all these old guys from back in the day were doing it, they were getting no percent. They were getting no percent of their royalties. They were getting a sandwich, some food on the day at a hotel, and the music was getting made. So we have come a long way. We're seeing a lot more labels doing 50-50 splits. We're seeing way more labels offering the masters back. So we'll keep your masters for 5 years or until we've made such and such profit, which is cool. So I guess we're moving in the right direction. But I know why people like me don't think it's fast enough, because we're not looking at the money we're making. We're looking at all the money we're losing.
Yeah, real talk, man. And as an artist with a strong online fan base, man, and I know you're very active on the Twitter, man. How important is it for you to be like direct to the fans and active on social media?
I think it's the lifeline for any business right now. So no matter what business you're in, first and foremost, you're a media company. Right. Don't matter what you do. First and foremost, you're a media company, because people need to know, you need to communicate with people. So you need to communicate what you're doing. So it doesn't matter what you're selling, but people need to know what you're doing. Right. So as an artist, it's something that I take super seriously, man. And it's something I need to take even more seriously with my other businesses, because I feel like I'm a little bit slack on that side of things. I feel like because when you're a rapper, you're a personal brand. So it's really easy for me to think something and just tweet it. Or get on IG Live and just speak it. That's fine.
Right. And so with the history of a lot of artists being like kicked out of online and being cancelled and all of that, and I know you're artists that, like you said, man, you speak your mind, and you know, do you ever get that sort of sense of like paranoia, like something you might have said may have rubbed certain people the wrong way, or are you just speak from the heart person?
Okay, so I say a lot of messed up things, because I am, my nature's abrasive. So if I feel like something's wrong, I'm going to say it. If I feel like you're talking to me in a way you shouldn't be talking to me, I'm going to let you know. And then that's just me in real life. Then if you put that online, it's all magnified. And we say like, people are keyboard warriors. And I get that, because online it becomes even more. So you're going to say things that you're going to go a bit too crazy. And a lot of times I've said things that I've been like, yeah, man should have chilled. And it's funny because I look at like old tweets, like Twitter back in 2011, was wild, So there's probably a few things that I've said then that could probably get me cancelled now. But I feel like when it comes to being cancelled, as far as like from the general public, as long as your heart is in a good place and you can apologize, and you didn't say anything that was too crazy, you'll be good. And I don't think I've ever said anything that was like majorly racist, homophobic, transphobic, anything like that. I feel like on those kind of subjects, I don't really play with that too tough, you get me? So I'm just that's something I wouldn't play with. So I feel like I'm fine with that. What I will say though, is even just being myself, I have to I have some very powerful people that follow me on Twitter. And some even more powerful people that don't follow me but still watch what I do. Right. I have people that can cut me some big checks that will watch what I've said and be like, I don't know if our brand can align with him. So I don't feel like I'm in a position to be able to say what the hell I want all the time.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be like, and I don't mean like I'm stopping myself from saying things. If someone does something I disagree with, I can just say to them, yo, I ain't feeling that. That's fine. But before I would be like, nah, man's a pussy. Like when I see man, boom, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff is like, you don't have to do that. Like you don't have to do that. You can just relax. Because what happens is, it could be, obviously now I do a lot of work with TV and adverts and that kind of stuff. They check all that stuff, man. They go through, they don't just go like, oh, we like your music, so we're gonna work with you. No, man, they have somebody who will go through your socials. They will see what your vibe is. Are you left wing? Are you right wing? Are you this? Are you that? Like, someone messaged me the other day when they were trying to deal with another artist for a project, and they were like, oh, has he been in prison before? I'm like, what? Like, people want to know, like, all different, you know what I mean? Like, all different stuff. How long, what was he there for, and all that kind of stuff. And me, I'm just like, I don't know, man. That's not my business. But it woke me up to be like, oh, okay, so they're really trying to find out everything about you as a person. And so I feel like if you have aspirations of doing anything more than just your music, and you want to align with some of these bigger brands and get these bigger bags, you kind of have to play that game. You ain't got to be like vanilla, but you don't have to be wild. You don't have to be wild online. You don't have to be, you know what I mean? Going crazy like I used to. So that's something I do watch now. I'm just like, and another little thing as well, when Twitter, because every now and then Twitter will be like, yo, you need to delete that or we're gonna delete your account. Because you've upset somebody, or I've said something to somebody, they've reported me, and then Twitter were like, yo, you gotta stop that. So that's kind of like, you're like, when you're getting there, you're like, okay, I might have gone too far with that. Even if I don't feel it's too far, but again, I don't set the rules, innit? I just play the game.
Right, we'll talk, man. So let's get into this project that you've put out, man. The Monster Beneath the Mainstream?
Oh, the Creature
Beneath the Mainstream. Yeah. So what's the story behind the name and concept for this project, man?
So last year before, for the last couple of years, I've always put out a song on Halloween. Okay. So last year we decided we're doing another song, and one of the guys was like, Messiah K2 producer was like, oh, you should just make an EP. And I was just like, yeah, I should. I've got enough songs for an EP, so I might as well just do that, innit? So I started putting it together, and then I was like, why not I just put another 5 songs together and then I have an album? So that's what I did. I put those songs together. Then I wanted to give it like a real horror vibe. So all the songs that I made for it, all the samples they used were from horror movies and horror sounds, all that kind of stuff. So then I was like, right, I want a cover to go with that. So then the cover got made, and I put the cover out before the project was out. People went crazy over the cover. So I was like, damn, okay, like I've really got to make this something special. So we put it out, came out, it was good. The mistake I made was one of the samples I didn't clear. So it got taken down from all the DSPs. So it was only up for like maybe a month, if that, and they took it down. I was like, damn. So come to this year now, I'm like, right, I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna add another 5 songs. Gonna fix the sample and do another video and just give it a proper push. Because what had happened is, because when it got taken down, I just stopped pushing it. I was just like, because I'd done a video called All Jokes Aside. Right. And at that point, I think that's the most money I'd put into a video myself. So I put a whole bunch of money into this video. The album's come out and then been pulled. So I was just like gutted, man. I was like, damn, like, so I kind of a little bit hurt. And so I kind of just forgot about it. Then coming to this year, I was like, maybe I should put it up again. And some of the artists that were involved in it were like, yo, where's our track? Like, what happened to this thing? And I felt bad as well, because, you know what I mean? People give you their time, man. Like, when someone gives me a verse, I take it. You know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate it. So I was like, all right, tell you what, 5 new songs. Let's go again, man. Let's put this out properly. We did, what did we have? Something? Yeah, we did like the hoodies, the hoodie package. So I did like package of like 50 hoodies. So you get hoodie, CD and a poster, £50. I did 50 of those. I was like, put those up. I don't know if people are gonna go for it. Yeah. Like they sold out. Originally I did 30. They sold out straight away. I was like, raw. Okay, let me grab another 20. Yeah. So I did that, and they sold out as well. And it was just cool, man. Like it kind of a lot of people who didn't catch it last year, kind of came back and was like, raw. Okay, I didn't even notice that you did that. Yeah. And then I did the Man-Made Monster video. And that just blew up on a whole different level. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's a really fun project, like a really fun project to make. A lot of times the projects are quite draining, but because this one was super fun, there's no pressure. A lot of kind of jokey, funny songs, because it was originally a novelty idea. So there's a lot of fun behind it, and I got to watch bare old horror movies. I'm looking for samples and stuff and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of brings the love back to making music. You feel like a kid again. Like that's how we used to do, looking for samples, watching old kung fu movies. Like, the Wu-Tang used that one. Like, and having that connection. Like I love that. I used to love when I'd watch a kung fu movie and I'd hear the sample that like RZA used. I'd be like, oh, that's from there. And so this was the same kind of thing. It's like one day someone's gonna watch a horror movie and be like, wait, that's from, cool, I get that. So that was the vibe, man.
That's dope, bro. So obviously with the way this year has gone, man, I take it this is your first experience of putting out an album really where you can't actually tour it or do any live shows. So how have you managed to navigate around that?
Luckily, it hasn't really affected me too much. I don't think I would have done that many shows anyway. We had some tours set up that got cancelled, but for me, I'm just like, we'll just push those back to whenever we can do them. So Blurred came out because of that. So the original album I was pushing for the whole of up until the beginning of 2020 was Vision. I was like, yo, Vision's coming, 2020, the Vision album's coming, boom, boom, boom. So I was pushing that for months, which is why we did the artwork. Artwork has been done, all the songs are done, everything was done. 1st of January drops, I dropped Practice. That's the first song for the Vision album, first single, ready to go. So now we're like, the next single will be dropping in, was it March? It was supposed to be, March, supposed to drop in March. The world ends. So I'm like, what am I gonna do there? I don't know, because I can't, like, this album is essentially a grime album. It's a jump up album. It was made to, I wanna be live and performing it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm speaking to my management while we're in lockdown. I'm having a walk around the field. And she was like, well, what if you just put out something else? Like a little EP, and then when lockdown ends, then we can drop Vision. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So that's when Blurred came. So Blurred Vision. So I've spent the week making Blurred. So Blurred really was done in a week. And it was really just about all the lockdown songs, about lockdown, about us feeling. It was a mad time as well, because that was literally, so when I just finished it, and that week, that's the week Ty died. Yeah. So there was like, the whole feeling was just mad, was mad heavy, man. Because that was like, that whole time as well, there was all that going on in the background. And it's like, in that place, you don't feel like making music. You don't feel like doing anything. Yeah. Then Black the Ripper died. Yeah. And then it's just like, I don't want to do this, but I don't want to forget what I'm feeling right now. Yeah. So I made 3 AM. I think that was the last song I made for the project. Put it out. It was done. But yeah, to me, it was one of those projects. It's like, you know what? I don't have to worry about. I'm not gonna be doing any shows. This is just like feel the madness of being in the pandemic and the madness of the whole situation and the darkness that goes with it. that's on the underside of it.
Yeah.
Like and that's why it's blurred. That's on my face. So the cover is actually the same cover for Vision. So it's the Vision cover.
Yeah.
The artwork is changed for blurred, and then my face is just wiped out, it's blurred out. Yeah. And I've taken all the color out of it because it's just like, this ain't the album I was gonna give you, but it's what you've got. It's what we have to do now. We have no choice but to make the best out of what we have. So Vision's still coming. So that's why all the singles that I've been dropping are still from Vision. So Radio is from the Vision album. Paris that just came out last week is from the Vision album. And I'll still be dropping them, but the album won't come out until we can actually be outside, man.
Man, that's real talk, bro. And speaking of our brother that we lost, man, one of our fondest memories with him was doing an interview with Ty. And after the interview, we went to we was in Stoke Newton, and we went to Birthdays to come and see you do a show. And you didn't know this at the time, but so you was on stage bigging up your influences, and you said, "Oh yeah, Ty is a big influence." And I was standing next to Ty, and I said, Ty looked at me, and I was like, "Bro, you gotta go up there, bro." So man, up there on stage, and obviously to get his props and stuff, man. And it was a real, like, genuine, beautiful moment, because you could see what it really meant to him, because he totally didn't expect it. It was just by chance he was in the area, you know. I mean, and you know, it was very touching to see, man. I mean, do you have any fond memories? Because he was an inspiration to you as well. Do you have any fond memories of Ty, the artist?
Man, I got bare. Ty's the realest, man. Like, in hip hop, in the UK scene. The UK scene is really small, and the community is a really small community, and we've become. I feel like for the most part, it's always good vibes, man. It's just people. You almost kind of already know, like, I know what that person's on. We're cool. We're good. And Ty is one of those people that from the first time I ever met him, because obviously I was a fan way before I met him, and even when we talk about influences, as far as the music I make, the Awkward album was like, it opened up a whole different world. Because like I said to you before, I was always trying to be too hard. Then when I heard that, I was just like, what? Like, this guy is just doing himself. Yeah. Then it's like, wait, man's from Brixton too. Like, nah, come on, like, and it just kind of gave me that permission to be like, no, you can do whatever you want to do on a record. So when I first met Ty, would have been at one of the shows that he was doing or he was at, and it's always been like, obviously when I meet, I'm always gonna be, to the last time I met Ty, I'm always starstruck, man. I'm always just like, yo, bro, it was good. And me and Ty, man, we disagreed on bare stuff, like, you know what I mean? But at the same, but it was always like, with him, it's always like, it was always from a good place, man. It's always heart. It's always the art first. Like, when I say, I do music for a bunch of reasons, and I do certain things for very different reasons, Ty was music for the love of it, for the art of it. That's the difference. I remember having a conversation with Ty, and I wanted to get him on the track, and I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I've got this track I want to do. He's like, wait, no. Like, I don't do things. I don't work that way. He's just like, I have to feel it. If I don't feel it, and if we're not vibing on it, then I'm not doing it. And I was just like, this guy don't even care. Like, he don't even care. Like, he don't care if he hurts my feelings, Because most people would be like, what do you mean? What, you don't do the track with me? But it's like, nah, it's not even that. It's not even about you. It's about me. This is how I work, I work this way. It's about vibe. It's about feeling, because there's something bigger than what you're making. There's something bigger than what you're doing in the studio right now. Because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's about the art. Yeah. Like, this is something, and I feel like he just understood that. He understood that really well, man. And he just wasn't. Yeah, man. He went for play, and and not even in. Like I say, man. I've been around some people that, you know what I mean, that ain't for play. But Ty had that same vibe, but in a loving way, man. Like, and no ego, like you said, yeah, he just comes to my show. He did that a few times, like a few times. I didn't even tell him I was doing a show. I just be at a place and I just see like, nah, wait, is that Ty's is in? That I mean, he's just there, yeah, man. Just come through, man. Just to support.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot of lessons that he gave to us, and we definitely have to. We got to listen to the music. Yeah. And because it's all there. Like if you didn't get, even if you never got to meet him, it was all in the music. If you got to meet him, you got to feel the energy up close. But yeah, man, it's mad. The realest in the game, because I feel like everyone has an image to portray. Everyone's trying to be something and everyone's got this thing. But Ty was just Ty. He was just, nah, I'm me. Like, one of the first to say I'm from the NIG. Like, everyone's saying that now. But he was one of the, like, for real, to really bring that element into the music, to speak the way he speaks. Like, this is his voice. And yeah, man, there's never gonna be enough props. And like him passing was probably this year easily the hardest thing that I had to deal with. And this is with with family members, like, you know what I mean? But it was massive to me because he played such a big part of my life. And also, I was in denial. I think you messaged me before and you was like, yo, when he was in a coma, and you were like, yo, we're gonna do the voicemail thing. I was like, nah, man, I ain't doing that, man, because he'll be out, man. He'll be out, man. Like, he's gonna be out. Like, I want to hear that. I want to hear none of that. Like, I want to hear none of that. And I'd be checking the GoFundMe because obviously I only remember this now as well. So the last time I checked the GoFundMe, I reading the update, and I remember looking at the money and be like, yeah, I was talking to my wife, yo, he's gonna be set when he comes out, man. He's gonna be set, like he's sorted. And it was like, I love that as well. And I was like, yeah, man, this is wicked. And then reading the update, like, yeah, cool, he's doing better. I'm like, oh, cool, wicked, boom, boom, boom. And then I'm doing my show with Jazz Kaina, and we're talking, and I get off live, sitting on this same chair I'm sitting in right now. I get off live, and I see RIP messages, and I just burst out crying, man. I was just like, this can't be real. This cannot be real. Like, this can't be real. And it took me couldn't process it. Didn't want to really. I think I got on live and just started playing his music. And then I spoke to Breeze, and he kind of put me in a, you know, the ones where he's like, nah, man, like he knew. Like, you know what I mean? He knew you two are good. But yeah, man, probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah, and you can see his impact on the game, man. The fact that he's got 3 murals in Brixton alone, like, you know, within that 2 months of his passing, man, which is stuff we've never seen before. You know, it shows you his global impact on hip hop culture, just outside of the UK as well, man. You know, and I mean, I think it's put a lot of things in perspective as well with us, like, to get real reflective, as a lot of people have done this year, man. And as one of the final questions I want to ask you though, bro, is how do you look at the Genesis Elijah legacy, man? And I know your story's not complete yet, but I mean, you're 20 years in, you're starting to get an idea of your impact on the game, man, and or how you want to impact the game. So what does the Genesis Elijah legacy say to you, bro?
The other day, I put out a tweet saying, I am the most overlooked artist in the history of UK music. I was in a pissed off mood, and I feel that a lot of times I feel like I see things happen. I'm just like, you should never be bitter about your position. Yeah, you should never feel like you deserve something that you haven't got, because you don't. You get what you get. Yeah, but it's really hard when you've been doing things. Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, and you're like, how come I never got no mobile? Like really, how comes, like, these people that know I exist, that aren't showing love? I'm like, why is that? And then you see other people kind of skip ahead and do things. You're just like, nah, like, what? And I feel like I have to be honest, man. I do feel that way. I do feel that way. But at the same time, I feel like almost every artist feels that way as well.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone feels they should be getting more, or other people are getting things that they're not getting. Case in point, today, I'm checking Spotify and I'm checking through like the playlist, and I'm like, rah, Paris hasn't been playlisted. So I'm like, did they update the UK garage playlist, the new UK garage playlist? I checked it. I'm like, wait, they updated it 5 days ago. Didn't put my track on. I submitted my track 6 weeks ago. You didn't put it on there. I'm like, let me listen to what else is on there. Bare music that's not even garage is on there. The stuff that is garage, I'm like, it's okay, but Paris is banging. Like, what are you playing at? Like,
yeah.
So a lot of times I kind of feel like, damn, man, like why am I not getting what I should be getting? But I feel like it's just a case of you got to just keep doing your thing, man. You got to stay on task, stay on your path and do your thing. And I think as far as a legacy, there's certain, if you watch UFC or MMA, there's certain, or boxing, there's things that we call journeyman fighters.
Right.
They don't really get no big accolades or whatever, but they're just there in the fight. You know what I mean? They just go on and on and on. I wrote a song called Bisbee, and I feel like I'm the Bisbee of UK hip hop, but I just haven't got the belt yet. But I feel like I've been fighting forever.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping, lost the eye to the game, man. I feel like I've lost a lot to the game. I feel like I've sacrificed a lot. I've sacrificed time with my family, time with my kids. I've sacrificed careers. I sacrificed a whole lot of money to do this and not get like my belt, man. Like, where's my belt? But at the same time, it's really understanding that it's the fight, man. It's like, why do you do it? You don't do it for the belt. I do it to swing, man. Like, I do it to fight. Like, that's the bit you gotta love. And I feel like I may not get the things that I want yet, but what my legacy will be, my legacy will show you that I never gave up. And nobody outworked me, man. No one outworked me. Like, it's just what it's gonna be. You can't say, you can't talk about work rate without mentioning me. You can't talk about hustling in the game without mentioning me. And I even the things when I say I've got, like, a lot of these rappers can say they got things, they got houses, they got cars, they got this, they got that. They didn't get it from music though, man. I got mine from music. I ain't been on the road since I was like 24. I've been at the road for a long, long time. None of this money is coming from drug money, from fraud money, from none of that. This is coming from just hard work. Like, either I got a 9 to 5 on the side and I'm doing music, or I'm doing a 9 to 5 and music's on the side. That's how it's been for however long. And that's the kind of thing I always want to show young people and people coming up. Like, there's ways you can make a living in this. You just got to keep at it, man. Just you gotta have that hustler mentality, because I can't be mad that I didn't make the playlist because my nan cleaned houses and hospitals from the time she came off Windrush and came to this country. Like, that's what they did. They really worked. Like, my granddads, my nans, they really worked. So for me to be like, oh man, didn't make the playlist, like, I'm pissed off. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Like,
look at your life. Like, look at what do you have to do today? What's the hardest thing you have to do today, Mr. Genesis Elijah? I've got to record 4 songs. Like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to get in a mud, man, and really just put in that work, because a lot of the things that we think are hard work ain't even work, man. This is fun. This is just it's fun. You get to do your thing. I get to talk to you. Like, it's all, like you said, we're in a privileged situation. It's all a privilege. And I just think I want my legacy to be that. I also want to be, in my mind, I'm always like, I'm the latest bloomer. Like, I'm the late, like, people say, oh, you need to get your bit when you're young, where you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I've always been the last one. Like, I might not get it. Like, I'm about to be 40 next year. I might not even get it in that time. I might be 50 and 60 and then be like, blow up on something totally different. But it don't matter. It's just like, nah, man, we're we've got a journey, we've got a destination in sight.
Yeah.
But while we're there, we're gonna enjoy the journey because there's been some amazing things that have happened on the way.
Yeah.
Like, there's been some things that people will never do in their lifetime. And I performed in Wembley in front of 12,000 people. Not everyone gets to do that. Like I've been on TV a bunch of times, a bunch of adverts, like a bunch of stuff. And it's just like, all right, cool. Just keep doing that. And one of these things is gonna stick or get you to where you're trying to go to.
Real talk, man. Real talk, bro. And what can the fans expect from Vision, man, when that drops? Like in your 40th year, bro. So it's kind of like it's a big year next year for you, man.
For real. It actually makes sense actually, because Vision started off as a grime project. It's Wiley's fault actually. Big up Wiley. So I think he said something like, "I'm dropping an album on the 1st. If you're dropping a grime album, he said, if you've got a grime album, drop it on the 1st. So I was like, I could drop a grime album on the 1st. So I started putting it together. He was supposed to be on it. He didn't make it. And then he was like, so then when we spoke, he was like, I'm like, bruv, are you dropping your album on the 1st? And he was like, nah. So I'm like, wait, you ain't dropping your album, but you want everyone else to do theirs. So I think Maxwell D dropped his, Grizzly dropped his, a couple of Little D, a couple of mans did drop theirs on the 1st, but he didn't. I dropped a single on the 1st.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, do you know what? I'm not gonna rush anything else then, I'll just release it later. But then obviously the whole thing has happened. So it started off as a grime album, which then as I was making it, I started digging into the history of grime and then the history of UK music. So the album really is a celebration of UK music. So it's not just grime, as the single that I just dropped, it's UK Garage. We did have a house song, which then went on Blurred.
Okay.
But I'll have another house song before. But it's just gonna be we're gonna put some jungle in there, and it's just a celebration of British music. I feel like the history of what we have, our sound, is so rich, man. If you talk about from ska, punk, just the influence of dub music that was over here.
But Lovers Rock as well.
Lovers, like all this stuff is like it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to just make amazing music, and to me, I came up under it, and I just want to be a part of it, and just celebrate with that. So Vision becomes more than just about 2020. Like Vision becomes about looking in the past and looking in the future. It becomes something way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And that just really just kind of it almost puts like a highlight under what my life is. My life has always been about just taking one step at a time, and every time I take a step, I meet somebody else. Like I meet you, and then I meet someone else through you, and then through that person I meet somebody else, and it just keeps rolling, and things just keep happening. And sometimes you give me something, sometimes I give you something, but we're just all moving in that path. And that's what music has been to me. Like music has given me so much, and I keep going back to saying I can't be pissed off at the playlist. Yeah. Because I got a yard from this thing. You get me? Like so it's all these little bits and pieces, but it all goes together. And I feel like the more I do it, the more I understand. Like we speak about purpose. What's your purpose? And my purpose was to do this. This was my purpose. And a lot of times, I guess one of the saddest things is, for most people, you don't even get to experience what your purpose is. You don't understand your purpose. You don't know it. Because I don't know who's listening to me right now. Right. I don't know what that sparks something in somebody else, something in someone else. I may never know what they did. Yeah. There's people that never knew how they affected my life. They to this day, they do not know how they affected my life, because either I couldn't get hold of them, or someone I saw on TV, Mr. T affected my life. Crazy. You don't know me. You know what I mean? Like it's mad. MC Hammer. I got blessed to be able to like talk to him on Twitter, Wyclef, I got blessed to speak to him on Twitter. Ice Cube, like I've spoken to these people, but even when you know what I mean, like they don't know the influence they had over what I've done, and it's the same with all of us. We don't know the influence that we've had over everybody else. So it's important for all of us to just keep following our path, following our passion. Because once you start following your passion, you're in line, your energy's in line with the universe where you're supposed to be. It changes everything, man.
Real talk, bro. Real big, what's it, elder statesman, you know, experience, knowledge right there, bro. You know, and obviously I want to take this time, give you your flowers, bro. You are definitely a generational talent. You're an inspiration. You know, you're definitely a shining light in the whole UK hip hop scene, man. And I definitely want to thank you for taking the time out to kick it with us and obviously shut down this series the right way. You know what I mean? A beautiful conversation, brother. Would you mind just dropping your socials for the people that like are locked in and they want to check out what's happening with you?
I'm the easiest person to find, man. It's everything at Genesis Elijah. Yeah, man, I'm there. And I'm not one of these people that like don't talk back, you get me, like acting too big. If you message me, I'll message back every time.
Wicked, man. Wicked, bro. Man, once again, bro, I want to salute you, brother, and appreciate and much love for coming through, man.
Nah, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do as well. Like I say, I see everything. I see the work that gets put in. I see the heart. I see where it comes from, and it's a blessing just to be a part of it.
All good, my brother. All good, man. Bless.
Love.
Much love going forward, brother. Peace.
Cool, brother. Bless.
Peace.
The Connoisseurs of Hip Hop, the interviews, Volume 1. Make sure you go get this and check it out. Audio book coming soon, but right now the paper book is live. Go grab your publication, yeah? The Connoisseurs, the interviews, Volume 1.